Hello, my name is Tim, and I'm going to be taking you through the HorizonLens financial planning application. And in today's video, we're specifically looking at how to add some accounts to the finances. And this is going to be a high level video, and there's going to be more videos available that's going to dive into more details on specific asset classes. So click on current finances, and then we have the screen here to its net worth, real assets, liabilities, and equity. And of course, I've got nothing set up currently. If you want to just have a play setting up a plan and don't want to go through and add up the accounts at the current stage, you can just click on where it says show me an accounts example, and it's going to populate you with some example accounts, as we can see here, and you can go through and set up a plan, for example. If you're then ready to set up your own actual situation, then I'm just going to remove these examples. At the bottom here, we have where the accounts are set up, grouped into various categories: cash, investments, pensions, real assets, and unsecured debt. So I'm just going to click on where it says cash because that's the easiest to start off with. Then click on add account, choose cash account. You're going to get this screen here. So cash account, we can give it a name if we want to. We can give it then the balance, let's say 30,000. Then we have these options here. So contribution is if you want to add a contribution to the cash account over the course each month. For example, if we're going to maybe add £50 or €50 or 50 US dollars, whichever the currency is you've got the account set up as. And then there's an increase, defaults to 2%. So that's if maybe keeping in line with inflation or salary enhancements, for example. If you want to override that, just click use default. You can change the percentage, say 5%, or maybe just even 0%. And then you can choose contribution timing. So this will stop the contributions when at the date of the retirement, or you can override that by clicking the tick here, specifying no end date if you want to carry on contributing while you're retired, or you can give it a date, for example, let's say 70. I'm going to click on that. You can then choose where the contribution source is coming from, which would be another cash account. Then we have growth. This is the growth for this particular account. 6% is quite optimistic, I think, for a cash account. So we can just click use default and just bring that down to whatever we think is more appropriate, maybe like 2.7% will do. And then cash flow and costs. This is if some accounts in some countries actually charge for having savings accounts in a bank, for example. Most don't, fortunately, but some do. Then you can set it up here. So yearly fee, you can set it to whatever amount we want, or maybe we have monthly fee, or we have more complex options, for example, the percentage of the balance, percentage of the actual growth, and even more complex is things like the tiered fee. And then you can choose where the fee's paid from, whether it's paid from the actual growth of the account, the contributions, which is going to effectively reduce the contribution amount, and then things like the cash account, and you can choose another cash account. So this is common to all of the account types. That's why I showed it to you on cash. And then we have the other options, for example, investments. You might want to add that in. You're going to get these number of options here, for example, tax and post-tax versions. Now these are specific for the country that's set here. Mine's UK, because I'm from the UK, surprisingly enough. You can then choose which country. If you want to set up, for example, United States, you're going to have the options available for United States, or maybe let's go to Brazil. We have a few there, one there. And then we have, for example, Canada, you have TFSA. Let's just set that back to United Kingdom for this demo. Then I'm going to click on stocks and shares ISA. And they're all set up in the same way, even other countries' ones. This is very similar to cash, as you can see, with a few extra options. We have the name, we have the balance, let's say 50,000. Again, you can choose the contribution, exactly the same in cash. You can choose the growth and the cash flow. I mean, the costs for these particular stocks and shares is probably more appropriate this for these investment accounts than it is for cash. So you can choose to set these up, and we'll have a little bit of a video to show you how to do those if you have more advanced versions. And then there are some extra tabs here, including portfolio allocation, set to balanced by default, equity mix, and dataset mapping. And now these are much more advanced features available. So if you're just a beginner or just getting started, I would recommend just leaving at the default and just clicking add. And we're going to have a video that's going to go into these more detail if you're a more of an advanced user and you want to play around changing the allocation of your portfolio, which is going to make a much more accurate prediction of or plan for your retirement. Click add, and then we have pensions, add account, and again, this is very country specific. So for the UK, we have defined contribution pension and defined benefit pension. And you can then choose, for example, other countries, for example, Roth and non-Roth for the US. This again is more advanced for basically for setting up your pensions. There are much more options, and I'm going to have video that's going to show you specifically about setting up pensions, but they are available here. Then we have real estate. Click on add account. This is where you would set up your property. Let's click on that. Give it a name, for example, maybe the address, the current value. I was going to say 500,000, and the purchase price 250,000, and then we can choose whether it's owned outright or it's financed. We might give it the loan balance and then the actual monthly payment, and then how the actual monthly payment is made, which account it comes from. Then we can choose to give it the interest rate and choose the interest type, whether it's monthly or daily. Just set it to that. That's something like that. Click add, and you can see the net worth updates in real time as we add the accounts. If you want to make changes to any of the accounts, it's just a case of hitting edit or the remove button if you want to remove it. And then for unsecured debt, we can then click on add account, and this is going to give you some options. For example, unsecured debt, student loan, medical loan, etc. Let's just click on this. We can give it the name, the balance, the interest rate, monthly payments as you expect. Just close that down. And that's a very high level view of how to set up the accounts in HorizonLens. As I said, there are going to be more videos describing some of the more advanced features of the accounts, but this will be enough to get you up and running with HorizonLens, and then you can proceed with the other videos for more instructions.